with you. Okay, so before we start, we switched this week some gears. We went from just looking at a place value chart to writing and reading big numbers. And then this week, we started something new with place value. And for those of you who watched the lesson 6 video before coming to the Zoom, can anyone give us a little summary about what we're practicing today? It has something to do with the place value chart, but it's a little different than something we've done before. Olivia?
We're doing thousands, less than, and more than.
Very good. So now we're going to look at a place value chart. We're going to be talking about numbers smaller and larger, and we're really focusing on a place value. So we'll be talking about 10,000 less, 10,000 more, 100 less, or 100 more. So we should all be on page 32 in your student workbook, and we're going to be working on the must-do problems. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see mine. Can everyone see my student workbook? Okay. Okay, so we're going to start on this page. We need to do letter A, 1A, 1B, and number 2. Okay, so the directions for number 1 say, label the place value chart. Use place value discs to find the sum or difference. Write the answer in standard form on the line. So we're getting really good at this. We're going to label our, obviously I'm not, start with the wrong one. Label your place value chart with ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. So we fulfilled our first duty. Now it says use place value discs to find the sum or difference. Who can unmute yourself and tell me what the sum or difference is? What operations are those? Anyone? Sum. If you're finding the sum, what are we doing? What operation?
Finding the answer.
We're doing addition.
Addition. Okay. How about difference? What operation are we doing?
Subtraction.
Very good. Sound more confident, Peyton. You're correct. Subtraction. Very good. Okay. 10,000 more than 605,472. Okay, who thinks they've learned something about me? What do you think, even though it's not telling us to do this, what do you think I want you to do first before we start working with this chart? With that big number written in word form. It's hard for me to know what I'm doing. So what could I do to make this easier on myself?
Turn it into standard form.
You got it, Nina. 605,000. So I'm going to write 605 and then put my comma for my thousand. 472. 472 gives me 472. So now we need to put this number in our place value chart. So Trace, why don't you tell me where I'm going to put my discs? Let's start here in the ones place. Where are those 2 going to go?
In the ones place.
Okay, how about the 7?
The tens.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 4?
The hundreds.
5?
The thousands.
0?
10,000s.
I need to draw anything there?
No.
Nope, I can just leave it blank. And how about my 6?
100,000s.
Very good. Okay, so I've put this number in my chart. So now this tells me I need to go 10,000 more. So what will I do to show in this chart 10,000 more?
Put a 1 in the 10,000s place.
Very good. I'm going to put 1 right here. I added 10,000 to my number. Now I'm going to go through and write how many discs I have in each. So I have 6 here, 1 here, 5 here, 4 in my hundreds, 7 in my tens, and 2 in my ones. So now I'm just going to copy this number up above. 6, 1, 5, 4, 7, 2, and I know my comma goes 1, 2, 3, comma. So what is my answer? Almost looks like G. What is my answer? Anyone can unmute themselves and read that big number for me.
615,472.
Very good. Now, I gave each one of you a toolkit at the beginning of the school year with a calculator in it. One thing that you could do in your calculator, you could type in 10,000 plus 605472 equals, and if you have this number, you know you're correct. So we can start using those calculators to check our work. Okay, any questions with that one? I'm going to scan through. Give me a wave if you have a question. Okay, looks like everyone's good. Let's move on to letter B. 100,000 less than 400,000 plus 80,000 plus 1,000 plus 30 plus 6. Now let's take this number in expanded form and we're going to put it in standard form. And I know this is my biggest number, so I'm going to give myself 6 dashes because I know I'm going to put one of these digits in each since this is my biggest number. Okay, let's have Sarah. I want like you to tell me where these numbers are going to go. Okay, let's start with my 400,000. Where does the 4 go in my empty number above? Which place? Don't forget that.
100,000th place.
Good. Where will my 8 go?
The 10,000th place.
Very good. My 1?
1,000th place.
My 3?
10th place.
And my 6.
Ones.
And Sarah, what's going to go in this empty slot?
0.
Go ahead and read the number for us.
481,036.
Great job. So now I'm going to go ahead and label my place value chart. And what's my next step going to be?
Let me just label the place value chart real quick.
Sure.
Write the numbers in the place value chart.
Okay, we're going to draw our disc. Okay, so let's start down here in our ones place. We're going to draw 6 discs. In our tens place, we're going to draw 3 discs. We have a 0 in the hundreds place, so we'll leave that blank. We have a 1 in the thousands place, so we'll put 1 there. An 8 in the 10,000s place. I'll draw 8 there. And a 4 in my 100,000s place. So I'll draw 4 there. Now they switched it up on us. We have some different wording. We need to show 100,000 less. So Soren, if I have to show 100,000 less, what would I do with my place with the discs in my place value chart?
Oh, 100 for 30,070 would be 100,000 less.
Okay, so what can I do to
And
this
that's
chart?
the second number.
What can I do to show 100,000 less?
You can put a line through it and put
What am I going to put a line through?
The chart.
Well, not the whole chart. We just want to go to the hundred thousands place. And how many of these do I want to put a line through? If I have to take away 100,000, how many of these do I want to take away?
Oh, you're on that one.
I'm right here. I want to take away 100,000. So how
Oh,
many
I
of these?
was jumping the gun. I was jumping the gun.
That's okay. How many of these discs do I want to get rid of?
Yeah, so you want to get rid of one.
One. So I'm going to just put a line through one. Now I'm going to go through each of these and I'm going to write down how many discs I have in each place. So I have nothing here. I have 3 here. Then I have 8, 1, 0, 3, and 6. Now I'm going to transfer this number up above. And I have for my answer, Bella, can you read the answer for us, please?
381,100,036.
You're very close. You don't have to say 100,000. It's just 381,036. Try that one more time.
381,036.
Very good. So now if you look up here, if we have 100,000 less, when we're subtracting, you always want to start with your big number. So you would take this number, and if you put in your calculator minus 100,000 equals, hopefully this time, you would have that number. Okay, you guys ready to move on to the story about Lucy? Peyton, go ahead and read to us about Lucy.
Lucy plays an online math game. She scored 100,000 more points on level 2 than level 3. She scored 349,867 points on level 2. Level 2 score on level 3. Use pictures, words, or numbers to explain your thinking.
Okay, so I'm going to highlight what's important. I know she scored 100,000 more points on level 2 than level 3. She scored 349,867 points on level 2. We need to figure out what was score on level 3. So I'm going to draw my place value chart. And this is what I'm going to do to show my thinking. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. So what information do we know? Do we know how many points she scored on level 2 or level 3? Look back in the story and someone tell me, what do we know? Trace, what do we know? Do we know how many points she scored on level 2 or level 3?
Level 2.
Okay, so right here, I'm going to put my level 2. What do we know? How many points did she score on level 2?
349,867.
Very good. So Trace, we know that she scored 100,000 more on level 2 than level 3. So what score is going to be higher? Level 2, or I'm going to draw a dotted line here. Which number should be bigger, the level 2 or level 3 score?
Level 2.
Very good, because right here it tells us 100,000 more. So Trace, to figure out how much she scored on level 2, what are we going to do with our level 3 score?
We're
She scored
gonna.
thi- She scored 100,000 more up here. So what do I want to take away to find her level 3 score?
1,000 from 100,000 from her score.
So we're going to take away 100,000. So I'm going to go to my 100,000s column. I'm going to slash that out, and that's going to become a 2. Everything else is going to stay the same. So Trace, how much did she score on level 3?
249,867.
Label that points. So right here is my answer. The level 3 score is 249,867 points. And it asks, when it says use pictures, words, or numbers to explain, this chart uses words and numbers to explain. And if we would have drawn discs instead of putting digits in here, I just did that for a change, something different. Since we use discs above, you could use any of those to show your thinking. Okay, so far, do we have any questions? Okay, everyone looks good. Let's go ahead and flip over. Now we need to do 3, A, B, and E. A, B, and E. Okay, now if you're looking at these, it just says fill in the blank for each equation. How is this different than what we did on the first page? How are these questions different? Do you see this time, we're not using a place value chart and we're just using numbers. So for the first one, I have 10,000 plus 40,060. So I know my change is going to be in the 10,000s place value. So I'm going to go to this number, 40,060, and who can tell me which digit is in the 10,000s spot? Nina, what do you think?
Can you maybe repeat the question?
Yep. In this number, 40,060, which digit's in the 10,000s place value?
4.
So I'm going to underline that. And Nina, if I'm going to add a 10,000 to that, my 4, if I put that in place value chart, I would have 4 discs. But I want to add a 10,000. So my 4 is going to change from a 4 to a what?
A 5.
And then everything else stays the same. So you're going to write 50, 060. And then to check this, you can put this original equation in your calculator and make sure you get this number to match. Okay, Sophia, you're going to help me out with letter B, okay? Go ahead and read that one to us.
21,195 minus 10,000.
Okay, Olivia, or yes, Sophia, what's the change that we're making here?
Subtracting.
How much are we subtracting?
10,000.
So we're going to look at what we started with. Which one of these digits is in the 10,000s place?
The 2. Sorry.
The 2, very good. So Sophia, if I want to take a 10,000 away, this 2 is going to change from a 2 to a what?
A 1.
Very good. And then what happens to everything else?
It stays the same.
Very good. So to check this on the calculator, you would go back to your original equation and put in 21195 minus 10000, enter. And if you get 11,195, you're A-okay. Okay, how about Olivia? For the next question, we have 122,000 equals 22,000 plus what? So now we have to figure out what could we add here to get us to 122,000. So Olivia, what are you noticing the similarity between these two numbers is?
That the 10,000s are the same.
So we have 22,000 and 22,000. So what do we need to add?
We need to add a 100,000.
Very good. So if you put in your calculator, we'd work backwards this time. 100,000 plus 22,000, your answer would be 122,000. So those are a little different. If you're pretty good with your facts, you could have probably done those mentally. But also, it's nice to just go through and underline and change the values, because that's really what we're doing on the other page also with your discs. So we just took a little bit of a shortcut. Instead of drawing these, we were practicing writing them just using the equation. So for our last two, how many of you guys remember in second grade when we used to have the math journals that had math boxes in them? Every day you had like a set of 6 boxes, and they were like review boxes. You remember those? In those boxes, there was a skill called in and out boxes, or a function machine, where you had to kind of try to figure out the pattern. And so if you put like plus 10 in the box, everything that came out would have had 10 added onto it. That's what we're doing here, because we're going to try to figure out what the pattern is. So for number 4A, I have 150,010 blank, 170,010 blank, 190,010 blank. When you compare the three that we have, which place value changes? Go ahead, Sophia.
The 10,000.
So I'm going to underline that. My 5 changes to my 7, then to a 9. So we need to figure out what comes in between those. Peyton, do you have any ideas? What could we add in the 10,000s place? So we would add something to 150,000 to get this number, but then we'd have to add the same thing to then get 170,010.
You add 10,000 each time.
We're going to add 10,000. So Peyton, 150,010 plus 10,000 gives us what?
160,000.
Don't forget that 10. Then we add another 10 to get 170,010. Then when we add another 10,000 to 170,010, Peyton, what do we get?
180,010.
And then we add another 10,000 to get 190,010. Now, when we add 10 to here, it actually bumps up the next place value. So what's 190,010 plus 10,000?
200,010.
200,010. Very good. So now we need to explain what we did. So we can write, I saw the 10,000s place increasing. I added 10,000 to each box to follow the pattern. Okay, so our very last question, letter B. Here I see the first box is missing, and then I see 898,756, and then I go to 798,756. So this one's a little different. We're no longer increasing. What are we doing as we travel to the right? If you know, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself.
They're decreasing.
So we're subtracting. So Peyton, I'm noticing my 100,000s place is going from an 8 to a 7. So do you know how much I'm decreasing?
You're decreasing by 100,000.
100,000. So when I go from 898,756 to 798,756, I'm subtracting 100,000. Who can tell me what comes next? Anyone?
698,756.
Very good. And then after that one?
590.
598,756.
Great job, both of you. And then let's see if it stays consistent. We went from 7 to 6 to 5 to 4, 498,756. But what's going on up here? I can't subtract again because I would be back to here. So if I'm working to the left, instead of subtracting 100,000, what am I going to be doing here?
Adding
Going
100,000.
You got it. Nina, what would 898,756 plus 100,000 be?
998,756.
Very good. So now we have to again explain what we did. So now I saw the 100,000s place changing. Moving to the right, I added 100,000. Oh, wrong. I subtracted when moving to the right. Moving to the left, I added 100,000. So we wrote down exactly what you did to solve. Okay, I'm gonna stop my recording, but then